here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel.
Today's podcast is created one of Cartoon Network's biggest classics, Johnny Bravo.
Created by Partible, this series follows Johnny Bravo, a guy with big muscles, but a small brain. His adventures vary from trying and failing to woo women, failing badly,
right,
to begrudgingly helping his neighbor little Suzy, crossing over with TV stars and other famous Hannah Barbera characters.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and pause videos.
Absolutely. So yes, it took us a very long time to actually cover this series. I don't know why we didn't think of it before now. When we first started, we did a total, like a covering for Cartoon Network, but we never did this as an individual series.
Right. And we have seen the show just about pretty much the entire series, like back when they had the reruns on TV when they used to have Boomerang on TV and later Cartoon Network. But it had been so long since we had seen the show that when they released a complete first season on DVD for like a Hall of Fame collection, Mom got it so we could finally see it from the beginning all over again. And it shows like the first 13 episodes of the series.
Absolutely. With some celebrities like Farrah Fawcett, Adam West, and Donny Osmond, and Vandala. And there are some outrageous escapades, I should say, that he undertook. And one thing we noticed really differently that we didn't notice in the beginning was how the animation really was almost like low quality anime.
Right.
They got updated later on when it got to latter seasons.
Right.
It was very basic, looked really different, and in the beginning, Johnny was really a total and complete idiot.
Yeah.
Without any sense whatsoever.
Right. And the very first episode, which was like the test pilot for What a Cartoon, and you could see how they would look from there all the way to where they had official episodes, and then all the way to the end of the season. So we can say, like, by the time I got to season 2, the animation had definitely improved because it looked like it was more like a sketch show.
Right, definitely. And this particular DVD we have, it has the 13 episodes that we mentioned, but if you've watched the series, you know there's segments, so there's really more than 13 episodes. Each segment consists of 3 to 4, each episode, I should say, consists of 3 to 4 segments, so it makes for a lot of entertainment. And this is actually a 2-disc set, letting you know there's really a lot of content in the first season. And you also get some special features. You get Bringing Up Johnny Bravo, commentary in 3 key episodes, the Sensitive Male temporary track, Johnny Bravo original pencil test. And we also learned that Seth MacFarlane worked on this as well.
Yes, on quite a few episodes. Yeah.
This is before his Family Guy days.
Right, so he had some foreshadowing within it.
Now, what made Johnny stick out as a character, when this originally came out, you can tell by his dress that he's based on a 50s type of cool guy.
Right.
Which was funny coming out in the 90s that this is what he thought was cool.
Right.
He's got the black t-shirt and the jeans, and he's got the pompadour hairstyle. But he's also really huge on top with teeny tiny legs, like he forgot leg day.
Right.
Consistently whenever he worked out. And he is a character.
Yes,
To
clearly.
put it mildly,
Right.
he's self-absorbed, he's narcissistic, he's chauvinistic, he's a lot of things that at that time were funny in the character because you knew it was imaginary, and he was like the worst case scenario of having a man.
Right.
The only saving grace he had was that he loved his mama.
Right. Yes, no matter how bad it got, his mama always came before him. It was the most hilarious thing ever.
And she loved her Johnny.
And there were a few times in this season and with later seasons where he was actually doing something nice for others, but it was like a rare occurrence. So you knew he wasn't just some shallow guy the entire time. So I think that was definitely needed.
Just 95% of the time.
Right.
And he was voiced by Jeff Lynne.
Yes, that's correct.
So this is really one of his standout roles. And the character also had, as I said, a 50s style. He also kind of had an Elvis type complex where he was trying to be cool all the time and striking poses and so forth.
Yes.
Now, in this first season, you had some characters that actually seemed to not return later, like Jungle Boy.
Yeah, I think he was just for the first season because Johnny Bravo's world was kind of all over the place. And Jungle Boy was supposed to be like a mix between Tarzan and George the Jungle. And there was like a little mini city kingdom jungle of animals. And Jungle Boy was the hero. There was a king. And yeah, now when you look at it, it doesn't really fit Johnny Bravo. They just kind of had whatever. Everything was kind of canon. They had aliens. They had talking animals. They had non-talking animals. They had Scooby-Doo. They had Santa Claus. They had spies. They had some of everything. And superheroes. There was some of everything in Johnny Bravo. And back then when you were a kid, it's like, oh wow, just about anything could happen. Now it's like, okay, this seems like everything was all over the place.
Let them kind of see what would work on everything and see what would stick.
You're right.
But by the second season, they had finally their grounding.
Right.
And you had a better cartoon, better animation, and characters that were funnier and more likable.
Right.
Jungle Boy was cute and likable. The animals he was with weren't.
Right.
I was really surprised to not remember that Suzy actually came in season 1.
Yes. And the whole running thing was you're trying to get him to do something he didn't want to do, and then you take a lot of convincing, or she would trick him or something, and that became a thing in here. And I forgot Carl was not in here the first season.
Right.
He was added much later, and they gave Tom Kenny a bigger role. So I can see like what huge changes were made as it went along. But it's always fun to see how it starts out, because definitely in here, seeing all these different scenarios and characters, just about anything could happen in Johnny Bravo.
Definitely.
Especially with one of our favorites, like two of our favorites would be in the crossover episodes, whether it be with the real people guest starring or they were cartoon characters guest starring.
Definitely.
One of the biggest ones we enjoyed was what is it, Bravo Doobie Doo?
Yes.
Where everyone just seemed like really cut down to one trait for it because they were just dumber than usual. And then our favorite regular guest star was Adam West.
Johnny Bravo meets Adam West.
Yes.
And on here, Adam West was just clueless and
He was bad as Johnny.
Yes. And it was actually hilarious hearing him and seeing this episode. Because one of the things that stuck out about Adam West is he was able to laugh at himself and not take himself so seriously. And besides it just being an all-around great guy,
Right.
so it was great having him on here to see.
Right.
Now that he's gone. And another funny one was Johnny Bravo meets Donny Osmond.
Right.
Because he hated Donny Osmond.
Yes.
He appeared more than once.
Right. And he was going to be his babysitter because, he's just like a child at this point. And he kept trying to run away from him and almost nothing would make him leave.
Now here he had some of his most memorable dates. He had a date with a werewolf.
Right.
A date with an antelope.
With a vampire.
And these are the ones who would give him chances. And in later seasons, no one would give him a chance, so it was hilarious.
Right.
But here, seeing, as we said, the gambit they ran and having different storylines was absolutely hilarious. Some of them in the beginning didn't work too well.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like all over the place, as you mentioned earlier, and also some of them were kind of boring. But by the time they would say they got to mid-season, then they finally were getting the groove and what worked for Johnny Bravo.
Right.
So he is not only a memorable character, but also the little intro theme.
Yes, do the monkey.
As soon as you hear it, you know it's Johnny Bravo, and it's fun. Even after all this time, it's really fun to hear that theme.
Yes.
And just do the monkey along with him.
Right.
And I also want to mention the movie that was made after the series ended.
Yes, long after.
It took place in Mumbai, India.
Yes, there was a movie called Johnny Bravo Goes to Bollywood. And this was made actually in India with help from Partible and Jeff Glevan voicing Johnny Bravo again. Apparently Johnny Bravo was a huge hit in India. It had even more of a following there than it did in America. And they loved it so much they wanted to do a movie where he came to Bollywood. So Van Partible went over there and helped them write it, and they made an official movie instead of just something selectively for them.
And this movie is hilarious and it's fun and it's great, especially during the time when these type of movies weren't being made. They did a great job. You might be able to find it on YouTube. That's where we found it.
Right.
And we have a copy of it and we've watched it multiple times. If you think you want to hear a podcast on it, let us know in the comments below.
Right.
But it's really fun and you've got to see it if you've never seen it.
Right. And it's a lot of fun. You would definitely enjoy it. Even with some of the jokes being more centric towards you knowing about India and Bollywood and movies that were out at the time specifically, it's still pretty fun when you kind of remember these movies kind of like being a bit dated. It's hilarious.
Yes. And lastly, Cartoon Network had quite a few games that were out with crossover characters appearing.
Right.
And Johnny clearly was one of the favorites because he appeared in the racing game.
Yes.
And so
in the brawls, yeah.
So definitely this is a memorable character. Jeff Glenn Bennett did a great job of making him memorable. The other voice actors were great as well. And if you've seen Johnny Bravo, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you love it? Do you hate it because you hate him and his personality?
Right.
Or was it mad for you? Let us know. If you haven't seen it, it's still available to buy on Amazon. You can probably get the entire series now instead of just getting season by season.
Right.
And it may be available to stream.
Yes, through Amazon or maybe even Max.
Yeah. So give it a watch if you haven't. You'll laugh your head off and then come back and let us know what you think as well.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos of your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. Hope you're having an awesome summer.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm On Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace. Hubba hubba.